That one was Devil in the Straw Stack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some that I wrote now. Those were traditional fiddle tunes, uncopyrighted, public domain, etc. These ones I wrote. Nice one, Boogie?
Yeah.
think we might do one more. I think we have time for one more. Then we'll get class started.
Awesome tunes. Two high school brothers who are sitting in on the class today. And so, what I want to say to you is that before class, because Twitch, we can't play any copyrighted music. So, we have to find music copyrighted. And the coolest way to do that is find people in class who are artists who would like to perform. And so, it is wide open, y'all. If you want to perform some of your stuff, maybe you have recorded music that you've done. You can't really do it live, but it's not copyrighted, and you don't have it up on YouTube. I'm not sure. You can talk to Jeff about that, but we'll definitely play it before class. And maybe you know somebody who would like to come in and do a 20-minute concert beforehand, because why not, right? And maybe you don't play music, but maybe you do spoken word or something. That would be fine too. Look at the awesome poem that young woman read yesterday at the inauguration. So yeah, that would be really nice. So feel free to sign up, send us an email, and let us know that you're available. So a couple things as we get started that we want to just say. What I want to say is make sure you read the syllabus. It's in Canvas. And I know a couple of you are just joining the class, and you might not be in Canvas yet, but make sure that you, when you are, everyone should be in by tomorrow. Make sure that you read through the syllabus. Next week, we will start with or taking attendance on Top Hat. So we'll be doing the finalized syncing of Top Hat on Monday or on Tuesday morning, probably. Make sure that you really sync it up because we will use next week. We're doing Top Hat again today. Niche, I think that you are probably ready to rock and roll on a Top Hat question. So definitely let Susie know when you're ready to do that, and we'll announce it. And again, we're not taking attendance today. We're going to use Top Hat. It's just a way to just make sure that we all understand how it works. So you should have that on your phone as an app. So Jeff, are we ready to rock and roll?
I guess so.
I got nothing, man. I guess so. All right, awesome, man. Hey, let's bring our chat team on if we could. Gene Patterson and Michael Solo. I think if you all could hop on, turn your cameras on, and your there's Solo. And Jeannie, we're going to wait for you now. We're going to rock and roll here. For Gene. So you guys are monitoring the chats, am I right?
Yeah, we are.
And say, hey, can you say something about the with just okay? So we have Twitch, we have YouTube, we have Discord. Can you walk us through a little bit?
Yeah. Your audio is being a little bit glitchy. I think that's on your end, just so you know. It's been popping up a lot in chat. But while you figure that out, I'll kind of explain a little bit, I guess, of what's going on.
I know.
Okay. So there's two streams up at all times. There's the Twitch stream and the YouTube stream. Most of the students go to Twitch stream. Right? So most of our students are in the Twitch stream. And then there's a couple of us like
Hey everybody, we are trying to get Sam's internet figured out. I don't know why, but he is extremely laggy, which makes your lag experience even worse. Currently on our end, it's not bad. You should be able to hear me just fine right now. You should be able to hear Michael just fine when he was speaking a moment ago. So if you can hear me just fine right now and it's not super laggy, you are fine. We're just going to try and get Sam. He's going to leave the call. He's going to come back, and we'll try and get him situated in a moment. We apologize. It says you're cutting out, but here's the thing, guys. I don't know why, but he is. I can hear myself. So you guys telling me that you can't hear anything means you got to either refresh your page, move over to YouTube, because it's definitely not a us streaming issue. It's a you issue. So we're just gonna hang out here for a moment. Yeah, I'll switch back to my phone. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and start. If the two of you want to go on and explain a little bit about chat while Sam joins the call. Either one of you can take over.
I'll go. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. So, hey everyone, I am Jamie, and I'm going to take us through a little exercise. It's going to be a possibly trippy guided meditation, so feel free to close your eyes, keep them open, just follow the sound of my voice. This meditation is called Imagine the Twitch Chat. So you pop into class, you see the chat already going. Kind, thoughtful, humbly phrased comments and conversations fill the proverbial air. Questions are being asked and answered with genuine curiosity, and kind, thoughtful, humble hearts are earnestly seeking understanding of new and unusual new and usually upsetting, challenging, differing views. You see messages start off with sincere question, how did you come to believe this? Or some other phrases that show that you're sincere. Moral of the story is people are self-aware and mindful and making sure messages are on topic to the class theme of what Sam is talking about and are coming from a humble, respectful place. Then plot twist, savagery ensues, name calling, flirting, comments on physical appearance that have nothing to do with class, judgmental, well, what's being talked about in class, judgmental and attacking comments and questions. They hit some people and morph into little and big harassment energy, which are violations of both Twitch and class community cultures. But they show up and you're shocked and you notice you're starting to get frustrated and you're starting to get distracted. You don't know what's going on in class. And now you don't know if you're going to get the top hat question right. Then all of a sudden, Care Bears? Yeah, Care Bears. Care Bears pop up out of nowhere. And that's us. We're the mods. Caringly, Care Bears staring away, all those name-calling, flirting, comments on physical appearance, judgmental, attacking comments and questions away into thin air. They just disappear. Then you look down and the Care Bear beam of care is coming out of you too. Yeah, you turn into a Care Bear. You're a Care Bear too. A sudden image pops into your mind. I was told that if I hit exclamation point care, then I'll get tools for how to block all those comments, especially if they're coming from the same username. Peace comes over the chat again. And whenever you see a comment and you notice yourself getting upset and you can't respond in a kind, humble, respectful way, without hesitation, you hit exclamation care and you do what you got to do. So moral of the story is we have a culture here that we want to create and maintain for constructive conversations that are relevant to the class. That's what us mods are here to do, to care for the chat and you all, and you also have the ability to care for yourself. I know this was cheesy, but I wanted to be creative. I didn't want it to be a boring speech. So there you have it. Peace out, y'all.
Dude, awesome. Awesome. I hope my audio is rocking. Jeff, if you can be in contact with Susie and letting me know. Solo, did you say something about Discord?
Yeah, I'll rephrase all that because I'm not sure if everyone is here, if my audio was okay then. But for those of you who don't know, I'm Michael. I'm also another chat mod. And this semester, I was kind of put in charge of the Discord server. So if you do exclamation point Discord in the chat, it will link it. And I believe it's also under the channel info. And we're trying to use that Discord to take some of the more like deeper thought out conversations from Twitch chat because it goes by really fast, hard to keep up, and kind of make an area where students can engage with, like with each other respectfully and just have kind of continued conversations based on what we talk about in class.
Cool. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yo, thanks, dude. Jamie, Solo, thanks. Awesome.
No problem.
Hey, so what we're gonna do? What's that? Yeah. Hey, we're gonna put the first top hat question up, and Nish, you can leave it up for a bit, give it a little extra time. So those of you, again, this is first week, so we're just trying a bunch of things out. So if you don't get to it or you can't figure out how, don't worry, we'll do another one later in the class. You're not getting graded on the top hat question at all. Hey, so Jeff, let's put let's bring in our first person here, and I think it's Lauren, I believe. So you can turn on your camera. And what we want to do today is just I'm going to have some conversations. We have 6 students who are in the chat, and yeah, Lauren, you can unmute.
Hi.
Yeah. Hey, where are you, by the way?
I'm in State College right now. I'm at my apartment.
Yeah, I was State College.
It's actually really sunny today. It's kind of weird. It's been snowing every day.
Yeah. All right. So listen, tell us something about yourself. Where are you from?
So I was born in PA, but my ethnicity, I guess, is Korean.
Question up. So I want you to just again remember. So these are case studies. This is our first case study, and I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want you to talk about it a little bit. Just say, what do you know? Okay, so there's no answer. You don't have to. But the question is, so more Black men and women voted for Trump in 2020 than in 2016. Is that true or false?
I want to say false. Yeah, I think false.
What makes you say that?
Well, I feel like a lot of stuff has happened since 2016, with the whole thing with Trump talking about how in the presidential debate he was saying like he didn't like, I guess, reprimand that like hate group, that like white supremacist group. So he like didn't say anything. He was just like stand down boys, which was kind of like, I think everyone kind of was like, what the heck? So yeah, I feel like because of that, that probably gave him like a little bit less credit.
Okay, so it was up 6 percentage points among Black men and 5 percentage points among Black women.
Oh wow, that's really interesting. I'm like actually really surprised.
Yeah, what do you make of that? Like, what do you?
Honestly, I don't know, because I feel like maybe my perception skewed because I see everything, most of like the information and like opinions I see are from my social media, and I feel like a lot of college students have a very different perspective than like the whole world, especially like the people I follow, because it's like Penn State students and like friends from home from PA and stuff. So I feel like maybe because of that, I don't really know how everyone else in the world views this issue topic. So maybe that might be why I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, I think you said something interesting about like your social media, and like and we tend to surround ourselves with people who think like us.
Yeah.
Now in the world of social media, it's really easy to do that, right? Just it's almost like building an invisible wall.
Yeah.
But what do you think would lead more? Well, here's a quote. Here's something, right? So so 35% of 18 to 29-year-old Black adults agreed with the following, right? That I don't like everything about him, but I like his strong demeanor and his defiance of the establishment. So 35%, right, of 18 to 29-year-old ideas, but I really like his really strong demeanor and his willingness to stand up to the establishment. What do you think they're saying?
Well, that's actually funny you said that, because my parents are Republican. I'm like not affiliated to a group, but my parents were basically telling me, they were like talking about like Trump, and I was like, well, what do you think of him? Because obviously they're Republican, so I wanted to know what they thought. I'm not going to go into like too much detail, but basically they were like, yeah, he's a weirdo, we don't like him, but like we like the policy that he like has put in place. Like he hasn't done a bad job in office. That's what they said. They were like, he hasn't done like a bad job, but he is definitely a weirdo and we don't respect him or like him. So I feel like there's definitely a difference between like his actions and like how we perceive him versus like what he's actually doing in office, which is, I feel like we want a president and we want to know what the president's doing, and we do know certain things, but I feel like maybe the media or like maybe my friends, they kind of only show the bad side, not defending him in any way, but like just
you don't know what happens behind closed doors, right? And most
yeah, and he could
complex. So,
yeah, he could be like worse than I think, you know, but maybe like
be better.
I just don't know the full story. So
Actually, he probably can't be worse than you probably think.
probably.
Okay, so listen, here's another question then. Okay, so you're a perfect person. Jeff, if you could put the next question up.
Oh God.
And let me know. So here's the question. Here it is. Lauren, can you see it on Twitch?
No, it's like not up to date yet.
There in a second. What percentage of Asian American women voted for Trump? Is it 10%, 20%, 40%?
That's actually another funny question because my grandma back in like 2016, my grandma was like so upset when Hillary lost. Not that she loved Hillary, but because she just like didn't want Trump because my grandma immigrated here. So she obviously had specific feelings about him. So she was really upset. So based off of like that demographic, like including that demographic, I would say 20%, except I do know that like Asian Americans in America do have like a higher status, I guess, as one of the minorities. So I'm gonna go with 40% because I feel like you're throwing me a curveball.
Right?
Yeah.
40% of women of Asian ancestry voted Republican, voted for Trump, right? I mean, you know, and again, like you said, well, hang on. Do you think they voted for Trump? Most of them voted for Trump or voted Republican?
I think they probably just voted Republican.
Yeah. You know, we have these maps. I'll show you later in the semester, but generally speaking, that's what happens. People are voting for their parties, you know. So, yeah, well, that's wild. So, you know, when you, how is that for you though, as a woman of color in the United States, right? And who it's people have this assumption that people of color are left, democratic, liberal, etc. And but you know, from what I'm hearing from you, it's complex, right? And in the Black as well, right? We have this idea that Black people can't be conservatives. You know, like the most conservative hour of the week, well, it's actually more like 2 hours, is Sunday morning in a Black church, right? I mean, the traditional conservative ideology, I don't mean Republican ideology, I don't mean that, I mean traditional conservative ideology is just so deeply embedded in the Black church. So the most conservative hour, but again, it's Black church, so it's 2 hours, maybe sometimes 3 hours, right? So.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's complicated because I do know a lot of like of my Asian American friends that are Republican, like even my age, even though I feel like a lot of people our age have very specific, like I'm on this side, and more I feel like lean towards the Democratic side, or at least they're more vocal about it. But I feel like it's really interesting being Asian American and being in this age group because I do have like Asian friends that are Republican and they're very like, actually my friend's boyfriend yesterday, like he came to visit Penn State and he's like a very open Trump supporter. And like sometimes he's just being a troll just to like get a reaction out of people, but like he is a Trump supporter. So I feel like it's kind of hard being Asian American because you can't really fit into either. Cause like we immigrated here, like, you know, like a while back at some point we've been immigrants, but also we are Americans that have grown up here. And also we are considered like a higher wealth class of minority. So I feel like it's definitely harder for an Asian American to like be placed in that box.
Define that. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So we'll come back to issues. Yeah, that was awesome conversation. I really appreciate it. You were like really a perfect choice for this.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Lauren. Thank you. Be well. Enjoy the class.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, so awesome. That's cool, right? So we're obviously the class is as we go along in the semester, as I mentioned last time, there are a lot of different things that we're going to do. Today, it's just case studies. It's just me talking one-on-one to individuals who are going to respond to these questions. But we'll do all sorts of things throughout the semester. So I do want to say that we are rethinking how we're doing the recruitment for volunteers. So you'll get another email about that. Hey Jeff, let's go to the next case study. And I think we're rocking with Amir, by the way. So Amir, you can turn your camera on. I think let me see if you're on the screen. There you are. Yep.
Yeah, hi, Professor. Hello.
Hey, where are you? Wait, hang on. So you're back home still?
Yeah, I am.
So it's
Yeah, bro.
I'm sorry.
You're not speaking. Could you mute your microphone?
Yeah, it seems like it's really loud there somewhere. Yeah, you got something going on. Hey, Amir, so you're what are you, like, it's 1:30 in the morning or something? Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. I'm thinking that we're in our evening class. All right. Hey, listen, Amir, so your question is, I want you to tell us everything you know about American Indians, Native Americans.
Oh, yeah. So, the American Indians, what I know about them is that they were staying in America before the Europeans came here. It's like it's their native lands. And I know that the Europeans came here after the American Indians were already here. Yes.
What else? How many tribes are there?
How many tribes? I believe there are many tribes, but there was a leader in the tribe that they refer to.
How many tribes do you think there are today in the United States?
Fewer than past. Yeah, exactly.
So how many? Take a guess.
I mean, today it's hard to differentiate between them, but I believe 10,000.
How many?
10,000.
10,000 tribes, not people, tribes.
Oh, tribe. Sorry. So I would say 200 tribe.
Yeah, 200. All right, that was close actually. That was a good guess. Very few Americans would even come close to that guess. Yeah, you're way off, by the way. You're not even close, but nonetheless, you are much closer than the vast majority of Americans. All right. So the answer, by the way, the federally recognized tribes, Native American tribes in the United States today, it's 574. So
Wow.
when we ask most Americans, the average answer is like 7. Right? Can you name any tribes? Can you name any?
Name tribes. I don't know. The Mobile tribe. I'm not sure.
Here's another thing. So tell me something about just Native American Indian, like ideology, like a cosmology. Give us something. Like, what do you think? What do you know about the way Native Americans approach the world, see the world?
I believe the Native Americans, they have their own way. I believe they have their own musics, their own dance, and their own way of seeing life. Yes, I'm not sure about it, but I know it's.
Well, how about, here's a close example. How about like Bedouins, right? How do Bedouins see the world?
Bedouins see the world that the outside world is a crazy one. It's not like the local one. Of course, they prefer the local one because they're afraid to go outside. So I think.
So like, okay, so let's see what else. But give me something else, man. Native Americans, something else. Anything? Native Americans are a population, a culture in the United States that by and large is just overlooked. We don't talk about Americans when we ask them how many tribes there are, how many people there are. They always underestimate, because the idea is in the mind is that indigenous peoples have been wiped out, have been pushed aside. And in a way, that's what allows us other Americans to live on this land, and more people died and being pushed off the land. Killed, and then we have this land in the U.S., right? Like, for example, the land that Penn State is on, that's native land, that's red land, that's other people's land. It was taken from them. And yeah, so hey, let me ask you a question, right? What's one thing about, what year are you, by the way?
Yeah, I am sophomore year.
Okay. What's one thing that you learned about America last year at Penn State?
Yeah, well, actually, I learned a lot of stuff about Americans.
What surprised you about American people and American culture?
But the American people, they're very friendly, to be honest.
What's
They're
that?
very friendly. They're social, even with other people, other cultures. They like to know more about people, about how their culture, what they believe in, what they do in life. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And also, I like this is what I like about the US people also. That they like to talk and stuff.
So American people are really friendly.
Yes.
What else?
Some of them like to travel to Middle East.
Mhm. What about American food?
Oh, American food, yeah, I like it, of course. It's very nice.
How about this? What about American families? What did you learn anything about Americans and how they are with their families compared to how Saudis are?
I'm not sure about this info, but I believe they're similar with the families, of course, with respect and treat them better. Also, listen to what they're saying. Yeah.
Dude, awesome, man. All right. Hey, where are you in Saudi? Are you in Riyadh or where?
Oh, I'm actually close to Dammam. It's actually the east coast of Saudi Arabia.
Got it, man. Oh, where Aramco is, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's Aramco is.
All right, man. Hey, listen. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, very cool.
No worries. Thank you, Professor. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks. All right, enjoy the class. Hey, wait. By the way, are you on a laptop?
Yes, I am in the laptop.
Are you plugged in, or can you show us around your house at all?
Well, country, they are sleeping, but I can show you my room. I mean, this is
Yeah.
Thank you. This is the closet. As you can see.
You're killing light fixtures, man. All right. Let's see your bed. Are people sleeping in your room?
No. I actually sleep in the mattress. But I ordered a new bed, a new room, and like the bed is still missing, so it's coming later. But yeah, sure.
Dude, all right. I got you. Yeah, it looks nice, man. We'll
Thank you,
talk.
Professor. Thank
All
you.
right. You know, dude, that's cool. Yeah, man, all the way from Saudi. Damn. Hey, by the way, class, Jeff, if you can put this slide up. Hey, there's a class if you want to learn. There is a class that's still taking some students. It's called Indigenous Ways of Knowing. It meets Monday nights from 6 to 9. And it's discussion based, guest speakers. It's 3 credits. It's interdomain. USGHGS. If you need 3 more credits, it's a very cool class. Send an email to the staff email, and we'll forward it to the person who teaches the class. So there are some seats open. It's a really cool experience. If you feel like you want to learn more about Indigenous peoples and Native Americans in particular. Hey, so let's go we're going to go with Kyle, if we could. And Kyle, what's up?
Not much. How are you?
Dude, I'm killing it. Where are you?
I'm in Cheshire, Connecticut right now in my room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, what's that photo on the wall behind you?
It's I'll show it. It's a signed picture from Bergeron on the Bruins.
Yeah.
That was a really special game for me and my family. So my dad got that for for Christmas one year. He framed it and all that.
Killing it, man. All right, so you're from Connecticut?
Yeah.
What year are you?
I'm a freshman.
Oh, awesome, man. Even better. Hey, so here's what I want you to talk about. Tell us everything you know about, what are you majoring in, by the way?
So I'm undecided right now, but I'm between microbiome and molecular bio. So I'm in between those two things.
It's good to be undecided, my friend. Hey, tell us everything you know about safe spaces.
Safe spaces?
What's that mean, man? What's that term? So if like Amir, who is just on, was asking like, what's a safe space? What would you say to him?
I'd probably say anywhere where it's like private or like closed off, where it's either like yourself or if it's with people who are non-judgmental. Like I'd probably say a safe space for me could be a room full of all my friends, because it's like just somewhere where you won't be judged, and like what you say, it won't like people won't attack you for it in a sense, and then like where you don't have to worry about obviously like physical harm, but like more importantly, I feel like just being judged and in a sense hated on. That's what I'd probably say.
Uh-huh. Hey, so who wants safe spaces? Like who calls for them, or what is it? Like
I'd say safe spaces. I'd probably say everyone does. I mean, because you don't want.
You mean like Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys and stuff?
I'm confused about that. Sorry.
You know, like the guy, you know, the Proud Boys, like the militia, these guys that are kind of like neo militia groups down at the Capitol building the other day. But anyway, go ahead, man. Go ahead. So anybody does.
Yeah, and because I feel like that it's just you don't want to be in a space there and especially talk when you don't feel like comfortable doing it. So it's like, in a sense, if this like Twitch didn't feel like a safe space, people wouldn't want to volunteer or something like that. So it's really just, I feel like people try to migrate towards safe spaces, whether they're conscious of it or not, because they don't want to be in an area where like they not even feel unsafe, where they just feel uncomfortable in a sense, because in a safe space you do feel comfortable.
And what's the problem with being uncomfortable, man?
It puts you in an
year old.
What?
Explain that to me as a 60-year-old guy who's always putting people in uncomfortable situations.
I'd probably say uncomfortable is when you don't know what like to do, because people are just like, I don't want to say like threatening you, but like when you're almost tied down where you have to really watch what you say, or like you have to really like be meticulous about what actions you do, because you don't want to upset anyone, or you don't want to be like, you don't want people to get upset with you and in a sense like, I don't want to say hate you, but like attack you in a sense.
All right, bro. So listen, man. So here's my question, right? I never hear white men talking about needing safe spaces. Do you?
Not really. I feel like a lot of people they're not really vocal about it, white people, about being in a safe space, because the sad truth is, realistically, they're a lot less likely to be judged for what they say and all that.
Dude,
or like,
you think so? Have you been in conversations about race when people are talking about white people? Like white?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, there's a lot of judgment against white people, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of judgment, like white supremacy and white power and white this and white that, and the assumption that that white people are just inherently racist by the mere fact that they're white, right? What do you? So we're living in a world. Oh, hang on. Do you not hear that? Do you? And this is a question for you, right? Do you not hear judgment toward white people?
Not really, because the honest truth is the demographic of my area is very predominantly white. So you don't really hear that much judgment towards white people where I'm from. Like it's like I wouldn't go around being like, oh, like I white people white supremacist, and like that's because I'm not one, so I don't think I am and all that. Obviously not, but like just because of the area I grew up in, I lived in, you don't really hear that much stuff. Like it's very predominantly white.
All right, man. Well, listen, bro. When you next time you're in a conversation, because you'll be in some, right? With in this class, the World in Conversation dialogues. Next time you're in a conversation with people who are not white, or you're listening in on conversations of people who are not white, I want you to listen for the judgments that are being made, the assumptions that get made about white people. It's not equal, by the way, right? I mean, it's a little bit different. When white people make assumptions about black and brown people, it's different. The consequences are different than when black and brown people make assumptions about white people. But the assumption making, right, and the judgments are flying around with everybody. And so, it's just kind of it's an interesting thing, right? I think, what's your ancestry, by the way?
I'm Irish, so my mom immigrated here when she was, I think, 20 something. So, and she has a big family there, so we do visit them a lot, and she is very Irish, so that's my ancestry.
Speak with an Irish brogue and all. Speaks with an Irish accent.
Yeah, it's funny because since I've lived with her my whole life, I don't really pick up on it. But whenever I bring like new people over to my house, they're like, "You didn't tell me your mom has a really thick accent," and I'm like, I don't even notice it anymore.
Yeah, very cool. Man. Where's she from in Ireland? Where's her family?
She's from Tullamore, which is right in the middle of Ireland.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, I know that area. Dude, awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, cool. Thanks for joining, man. Safe spaces, my friend. Thanks. Hey, wait, before you go though, let me say one kind of thing. One of the things that's really important, I think, about Social 19 is that sometimes, one thing that I think is really important to talk openly about issues that sometimes that every issue, we need to talk openly about it. We need to put things on the table and we need to have conversations. I think it's really valuable. I wouldn't say every issue because there's some issues that, like, as a man, I maybe don't talk about, and there's certain things that it depends on the situation, or may not bring it up. But by and large, I live in a world, I have this idea that it's far better to put things out on the table and talk about them than it is to be afraid to talk about them. But what happens is, we live in this world of a lot of fear that we'll maybe say the wrong thing, fear that we'll judge somebody, fear that we will make somebody uncomfortable, that this sort of thing, right? And so we don't want to do that. And partly because we just don't want to do that. And partly, many times, or for many of us, is because there will be some kind of backlash that could be detrimental to us, right? I'll say the wrong thing and then I'll get in trouble for it. And so one of the things that people have learned to do in the United States to a great degree is just be silent about issues, right? So when we bring up something about race, for example, we would just be like, to you and I as two white people, have been just sort of socialized to say, okay, I just won't really talk about that because I don't know if what I might say might be offensive to somebody. And it will be offensive to somebody. No matter what I say, I can find somebody that would be offended by it. And so one of the things in the United States that we've done is just sort of get kind of silent about all these sorts of issues and not really not talk openly and honestly. And then, we have a public conversation like you and I are talking now, but then we'll go and have a real conversation with our friends, like what we really think and that sort of thing, right? I mean, I don't do that, but lots of people do. So anyway, that's a thought about this class. So
Yeah, I definitely noticed what you were saying. Like, there's a lot of times where you'll be in a public area and then people will like say one thing, and then when it's just you guys like alone, they'll be like, "Oh, like I wanted to say this, but I didn't know if I could say that in public or not." So it's
Mhm.
like, I do really notice that.
and it's not that they're racist or sexist or homophobic or whatever. It's just like they don't know, right? Is that what you're saying? Like,
Yeah, especially I hear that a lot with my age about some of my friends who are Republicans. Like they don't say anything in public or around people that they're not like really close with because they're afraid of I don't want to say the cancel culture, but like on especially what you see in social media. But then when it's just like you guys alone and like or when they know that you're not gonna judge them even if you have a different view, they openly talk about that, but which they would never do in public. So I do notice that a lot.
yeah, 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 man. That's dude, well there it is. That's the safe space thing, right? Like that's what, and then the more we have safe spaces, the more we box ourselves off and seclude ourselves, the more then we keep the conversations with just us, right? And
Yeah.
thing we have to question, like what's unsafe, right? What's unsafe for one person is not necessarily unsafe for another person. But the least safe person gets to set the tone for the whole room. So sometimes all it takes is one person to say, I'm uncomfortable. And then everybody else has to follow along. And that's a question like, is that okay? Is that what we want? Is that where we want to be? All right, dude, listen, man, thanks for joining. Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, enjoy Connecticut. Hey, that's cool, man. So listen, class, and then it's gonna be Josiah hopping on next. So Josiah, get ready. Hey, one of the things about Social 19, I've been doing this a long time. Right? I've been teaching about race and these really controversial issues for 35 years and teaching from lots of different perspectives. And I'm really connected to so many different groups and so many different people. And I've had such deeply fascinating and intimate conversations with so many people that a lot of times that I'm really comfortable with issues that lots of other people are not comfortable with. And so I will put issues out onto the table or bring them out into the classroom. And a lot of times people, sometimes students, a lot of times students are just really reluctant to engage, or they can't believe that we're actually going to have a conversation about this thing because you didn't know if it was okay to talk about it. And it's okay to talk about most everything. It's all about how we talk about it. And so, anyway, that's what this class is. It's really a lot of honest and open engagement. So that's what you get. We're just walking right into the deep end, man. And I really like awkwardness. I'm really good with awkward situations. So speaking of that, let's go to the next one. And
Yo, before we start that, there's another top hat question that is going up right now.
Dude, that's top hat question is coming up. So once again, what you're going to do is on Canvas, you want to link into to Top Hat from Canvas. And again, some of you may not be connected yet because you may not be on Canvas and we may not have linked it, but make sure you get that ready to go for next class, okay? So Josiah, are you ready to rock and roll? Hey, Josiah.
Yeah, what's up?
What's up, man? Where you at?
I'm at Bucks County, Pennsylvania, Chalfont, Pennsylvania. So,
yeah. And what's your background?
So my dad is African American, and my mom's Hispanic, but more specifically, she's Costa Rican. So she was born and raised there. And then after she graduated high school, her and her sisters moved to Florida, and then to New York, and then to Pennsylvania. So
awesome. Where's she from in Costa Rica?
San Jose.
San Jose.
Yeah.
I spent a month in San Jose in 1987.
Mhm.
Really cool month, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wish I could have been there. I mean, I've never actually been outside the country, but I know Costa Rica is like so nice. But
Go to San Jose, man.
I know.
Go down, find a hostel. You can do it. You got
Yeah.
you. All right, so listen, man. Here's what I would like you to talk about. The N word. Tell us about the N word, the N bomb, right? Tell us all about it. What do you know? What do you think? So you take an international student who doesn't know anything about the N word, school them. Like what's the good, the bad, the this, the that? Like what do you know? Everything you got.
So yeah, so that's like a word that African Americans, like that's what we use to, like, you know, when we're talking about, like, well, not just friends, but honestly we just use that as a blanket word for just people. Like sometimes we'll just call anybody that, like, a nigga, like, yo, like that nigga's tripping, or like that's my nigga. Like it's like certain stuff like that. Like there's different types of like lingo for that, but it's really like if you around certain black people, around certain African American people, they might get like really offended if you're not African American. But like Hispanics use it a lot, and I don't know, most people don't really care like when Hispanics use it, but like obviously when white people use it, it's like a problem. Just because, like, you know, they use like the hard R as as a slur, and so like black people kind of, they like made it, they took a derivation of it, like nigga, instead of, you know, the hard R, as like a form of like a sign of like unity. And so like that's us, that's our people, you know, during like just like the civil rights time, and just, you know, as years just went on. But like the hard, yeah, and so like the hard R is definitely like,
So
you know, you don't want to hear that from anybody, even if you're black. Like you don't want to hear that.
Do you think, okay, so there are a lot of people watching the stream, right? And you used it as an example in there, right? Do you think there are people who are right now feeling like that was really uncool that you, Josiah, used the word, even with not the hard R? What do you think the different opinions are, even right now that you used it?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people, I don't know, some people might be a little like, whoa, why'd you say that? But I mean, it's not like a super like a crazy word. I'm African American, so I mean, I'm not saying that I'm like allowed to say it, but like I definitely have like a right to use that. And so I'm just trying to, you know, make it so it's not super uncomfortable when you hear that. So by using it in more commonplace conversations, I feel like that maybe helps to loosen a little bit of the tension for like conversations around that.
Okay, what do you know about the origin of the word? Like, why is it so incredibly just like just a word that you just don't use? Like, what made it that? What do you know about the origin of the word and how it got to be a word that if you use it, like if I used the word right now, I mean, I could lose my job. Okay, what made it the word like that?
So just like, you know, and I definitely know in like the 1900s, like definitely it's just like a word that people would use as like a racial slur. And obviously like there was other forms of like racism that white people used to, like, you know, disrespect like African American people, but that was just like their like verbal usage to like just as like a further emphasis on like their distrust and their disliking. But as far as like too much, I don't know too much of the origins about it. I just know that that's always been like a word that, you know, white people had been using in years prior to just create more like divide and be more disrespectful.
So if you use that around your grandparents, your father's who is African American, right? So like his parents, if you use that around his parents, would they be annoyed at you?
Well, I don't think they would. Now, I never met my grandfather. He died before I was alive. And then my grandmother, like I knew her for a little bit, but she was like always like older, and but I never really used it around her anyway, because like she died when I was younger too. Like she died when I was 12. So I didn't really use that word very much. But I don't think she would get too offended. But again, I don't really know too, because like she was always super nice, and I was younger too, so I always had a like perception like just be super like kind and nice about my grandmother. Like that's my grandmother. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
cool.
So listen, let me ask you a final question. So what do you think about when people say, "Hey, but you can use, why can't I use the word if you can use the word?"
Mhm. Well, just because like it's like holds true like for Black people, that was like I said, it was just a word that they use as like unity, and so to hear other cultures use it, it's kind of just like, well, you're a different culture. You guys like if you've had the hardships that we've had, then like you guys should have your own, not your necessarily your own thing, but it's like that's like for us because we've had it so rough in this country for so long. It's just always about like unity.
Yeah.
And so, but again, like if people were to use it, they could use it, but you should be prepared maybe for a little bit of backlash just because it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's always what we've used. That's one of the things we use to be united together as people.
Listen, man. So here are a couple thoughts, right? When as I grew up, I mean, it's the one word that I just have never used the word. Like I grew up in knowing that it's just a really bad. Well, all derogatory words toward other groups. I mean, I learned them and I learned not to say them, right? And so like but it's different. I mean, other people use them, but I didn't. And there is a way in which lots of people appropriate the word. Like Joy has a sticker above her. Hey, Joy, can you just pop on your camera really fast? Jeff, is that possible? And so Joy has
Yeah.
You don't have a sticker behind you, do you?
I'm on my laptop. I can move to the sign or go grab it.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Joy has a sign behind her.
I'll be back. It just says that bitch, basically.
Oh, all right.
Not basically, exactly is what it says.
All right, thanks, man. And like, so so here Joy has this up as a woman, right? And like, how is that? Like, whoa, whoa, hey. And so there are going to be some women who are offended by that and others who are not. And like, this is just the nature of these things. And this is the kind of stuff that we're all just really working out. And a lot of times what we see with groups that, all right, man, come on, you're going to get us kicked off Twitch. Don't leave it up there. No. Damn. So like a lot of people, you take words and they appropriate them. They take them on. They say like, if I have a nickname for you, like a bad name, and you take that on yourself, like the sting of it no longer matters because like you've taken it on. You're like, whatever, call me whatever you want. But
yeah,
I know who I am and I know what I am. And so we see this with less powerful groups all over the world who will take it on. Like in India, like the Dalit community. You know who the Dalits are? The Untouchables. Have you heard of the Untouchables?
I may have heard of it, but I'm very unfamiliar.
It's the lowest caste system in India, okay? And the Untouchables are the absolute lowest. And of the Dalits, there are certain groups of Dalits that are even lower than other groups. And Dalits have really taken on that word to say like, hey, I'm really, you can't offend me with that. Like I'm taking it on. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I just am a person who is observing these things around the world. So, all right, bro, listen, man, Josiah, thanks for hopping on, man.
Yeah, no, what you said at the end was definitely like, that makes sense. And I've definitely like my father, he's talked to me about that too. Like, it's good to definitely like stand up like for your people, stand up for like Black everything, but also like don't try to always like you don't need to always be offended by everything that you hear just because there's always going to be bad people. Like you said, you just take on the word and then it loses its power. So yeah. I definitely agree with that for sure.
Exactly, man. And I'm not recommending that people do that.
Yeah.
Speaking as a sociologist, that's what happens not only here but all over the world. I see the same thing. Yep. And that's a way of fighting back. So
yeah.
Hey bro, listen, man, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah.
See you back up on campus in a couple of weeks.
Yo, I really enjoy this class. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, dude, thanks, man. Hey, all right, let's go with the chat's probably rocking. Hey, by the way, the purpose of this class is to get us to have these kinds of conversations that for which there aren't necessarily answers. There are lots of opinions, and sometimes there are right and wrong answers, and there's certainly lots of opinions. And it's really important that we throw those different opinions out in the world. What's that? What's that? Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah, dude. It's a poggers thing, man. Poggers. All right, so listen, who's our next person? Oh, it's Pierre Louis. Pierre Louis. And Jeff, can you put that that graph up on Hey Pierre, are you watching Twitch?
I am, yeah.
Okay, look at Twitch. Is it on your laptop? You're gonna need to see
Yeah,
it.
it's on my laptop.
Dude, all right, so bro, where are you at right now?
I'm in the Cayman Islands right now.
Dude, Cayman Islands, man. What are you doing there?
My dad's an accountant, and accounting is like pretty prominent here because
Accounting
there's
is
a lot of taxes.
Cayman Islands, man, but beaches. Yeah, all right, so go ahead. Awesome.
Yeah, so my dad is accounting. There's like little to no taxes here. That's kind of what we're known for. Yeah. So a lot of people like put their money here for tax fraud, but that's a myth. So
dude, we're gonna put our Twitch earnings there. Can you invest them for us, man? Yeah.
Pardon?
Dude, at some point in time, I want to. Are you near the water?
Yeah, it's across the street. I walk there, and it's there's a beach.
All right, man. Okay, on one of these. And one day you gotta just go out there with your iPhone. All right, yeah. Show us, because we're here in the middle of winter, and you need to give us a sense of where we could be if we were like you. So you're French originally?
I'm French originally. Yeah, I was born there, and then we moved here when I was like 4 years old.
So you speak French? Parlez-vous?
Yeah, fluently.
Awesome. All right, but listen, bro, can you see Twitch? You got that graph up? Jeff, you need to have that full.
Yeah, I'm a little bit behind, so I see me right now.
Graph is up now, so it should take a couple of seconds.
Okay, I see the chat saying.
All right, hang on. You're gonna get it in a sec. So, one final thing. It'll pop up. So, tell me one thing that you've learned about. Who else? Who's in? All right, here it is. Take a look at the graph, bro. So, Ipsos, it's a marketing organization, right? They market all over the world, and they ask people in all these countries on the left. You have to really focus on it. So if you're on your phone, y'all, it's going to be hard to see, but if you're on a laptop, you can see it. And they ask people who they would vote for, and this is who folks said. So on the left is blue, and then all the white and the gray is either I don't know or I'd rather not answer, and the red is Trump. And you can see that the vast majority of people in these countries in the world are saying like, nah, we're not going to vote for Trump. We would vote for Biden. And tell us what you see when you see that map. Like, look at countries at the top, look at the countries at the bottom, like the ones that are more likely to vote for Trump. Like, what do you see as a person sitting in the Cayman Islands?
To me, it makes a lot of sense, because when you're looking at like international media and all that kind of stuff, people are a lot more against Trump, because a lot of the time the media portrays him as this negative man. And, you know, I'm not a big Trump guy, but people from other countries tend to lean towards anyone that's not Donald Trump. And so the graph kind of makes a lot of sense to me. And as you go down, like for Russia especially, they're a little bit more right-leaning. So I would suspect that, you know, they wouldn't like Biden as much as other countries would.
Look at Russia, Poland. Poland has a right-wing party. Turkey, Erdogan in Turkey, who's right-wing. Russia, although Erdogan hates Trump, but whatever. You know, Hungary. Look at that. Like, damn, man. Yeah. So what do you? So look at it's really fascinating. And then look at the countries at the top that are really most likely, right? These liberal democracies. Yeah. So what kind of conversations do you hear with folks? Like, walk us through a little bit, just in your little world, right? Say a little more about that.
So like where I'm in the Cayman Islands, it's a lot of people are actually a little bit more towards Trump because the island is very, very conservative. But in terms of the expats or the immigrants, like people like me who come here from other countries like France or England or whatever, when I talk to them about it, they're like, just don't bring up his name. Let's avoid that topic because most people hate him from like Europe and most immigrants are just really against him. Whereas the people here, like the Caymanians, tend to favor his policies.
Yeah. So it's like, and it's really just kind of a conservative economic policy.
Yeah.
So listen, man, are you a French citizen?
I am. Yeah, I have a French passport.
Where'd you learn? You went to an international school.
I did.
And we're in the Cayman Islands, or
Cayman Islands, yeah.
Yeah, so taught by Americans.
Yeah, yeah.
Assuming that, because you have an American accent.
I know. I wish I had a French accent, but I can put it on when it's called for.
Yeah, dude, put it on for us, man. Like, come on, dog.
Shall I put on my my beret?
Yeah, put your beret on and say something.
I have my beret.
And put your beret on and invite us all to the Cayman Islands so we can hang out on the beach and drink beers with you.
Well, you would have to quarantine for 2 weeks here.
Oh, that's all right. Say it all in French. We want to hear you say it in French.
You want the French accent to come out?
Exactly.
So like when you come here, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks before you can leave. Like you have to stay in your house for 2 weeks before you can go outside and like go to the beaches and whatever. And you have to test negative for COVID-19 twice when you land, and then you do your quarantine even if you're negative, and then you have one at the end of the 2 weeks, and then if you're negative again, then you get let out. But if you're not, then they keep you in there. And some people have gotten like imprisoned for leaving early. Like there was a big story about this girl called Skylar Mack. She went on like USA Today, and like everyone on the island hates her because she could have brought COVID back, but we don't have it here. So,
dude, awesome, man. Dude, that's great. I remember Scott. Hey, by the way, is marijuana legal there?
It's not, but everyone smokes.
It doesn't matter. All right. No. Okay, Jeff, we can visit. All right, man. All right. Got it. The stream team will be there. Joy. All right, man. Okay. Thanks, bro. We'll see you again. You got to come back on the stream, and you gotta like show us the beach, okay? Just so we can feel it. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, so we got my peep here is saying, Susie's telling me we got 10 minutes to go. So, hey, let's go with our final, our final person, man. Yeah. Who do we got? Dude, Jog.
Hey, Sam.
What's up, Jog?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, I was wondering, like halfway through the stream, I was like, why is my name Jog? And then I remembered that for my ethnicity, I put just another white guy.
Yeah, so you don't look like just another white guy.
Well,
Jog,
yeah.
Where you at, man?
I'm in State College right now.
Yeah. What do you do? Are you an athlete or something?
I do run. I'm not on the team right now because I'm really focusing on my engineering, but I did in high school. I went to districts and states for PA.
Dude, I don't even know why I asked you that question. It just felt like I should.
You just sense it.
Dude, I can sense it now. All right, so listen, where are you from originally?
I was born in Philadelphia, and then I was raised in Bucks County, which I'm pretty sure I'm like the third or fourth person to say that on this stream.
Yeah, you are, but too bad you're not in the Cayman Islands. All right, so here's what I want to get you to talk about, man. The border wall.
The border wall.
Yep. What do you know?
Which one?
Trump's border wall with Mexico.
With Mexico?
Yeah. What do you know? That's everything you know.
I know that back in 2015, he really, really wanted to campaign like this border wall between him and Mexico, or between the United States and Mexico, I guess I should say. even though it would have done absolutely nothing, they would just cost a lot of money for taxpayers. And he just wanted to do it to prevent a lot of drugs coming in from Mexico. And he got a lot of Republican support behind it. There were a lot of people, I knew a lot of people who truly believed he was gonna get it done, but as we all know, he did not. He didn't even run on it in 2020, which I thought was funny. Did not even mention it, but I just thought that.
So what's the purpose besides drugs though? What's the purpose of the border wall? Like what's the issue with undocumented immigration?
Just to keep.
Why is it a problem?
Yeah, just to keep immigrants out so they can stop taking American jobs.
Okay, what else? Think about this. Think about so there's a really good, reasonable argument for stopping the flow of undocumented immigration, right? Or immigration. There's a really thoughtful argument. Do you have any idea what you would say if you were just like beyond taking jobs, right?
If I would say on which side?
Hey, what you would say, like, no, here's a good argument for stopping illegal or undocumented immigration. And then
so I'm very much for immigration, but if I were to look at stopping illegal immigration, I would definitely say that there's just a lot. It's really hard for some people to get into America legally, especially from Mexico and people in, say, like the Middle East. It's like extremely hard to get your visa or even just in here, much less become a citizen. People work years just to become a citizen, and for the people that take the right path, it takes a very long time just to get a job in here, whatever. Whereas in Mexico, you just can have people just come in illegally, pick up a job. Like over the summer, I worked for a company. It was a labor union company, and sometimes if we just needed extra labor, we would go to the local Home Depot and just pick up some Latin Americans and have us work for the day. And they were definitely illegal immigrants. And whereas you just have people taking the right path of citizenship, and it's so hard. It takes so many years.
And yet the problem, it is a problem to, I mean, you don't want to live in a society where you have people who are unregistered and you don't know who they are and where they are.
Yeah.
It's actually problematic, right? It would be like people at Penn State randomly taking classes and you're like, who are these people taking all these classes? Like it's not a good idea to just have people who are not somehow registered in some way. So you could make that argument quite well. Dude, so the company you worked for was what kind of company?
Labor. We made like baseball fields, soccer fields, running the caterpillars and the rollers.
When you needed additional laborers,
you
would get undocumented workers, like who would hang out at Home Depot.
Yeah.
How much did they get paid?
I would say fairly well, like just in cash, a couple $100 for a day.
Yeah.
Because it was a hard job in like the blazing summer. You'd be working in like 100 degrees, just you and your shovel.
Yeah, it's intense, man. Wow. All right, bro. Listen, man, that's it. Nice job. Like it's one of these things. It's like you did a nice job with that, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, because you just sort of go at different directions. There's so much to know. I mean, we'll come back to it later in the semester. We'll come back to this issue. It's a huge issue, right?
Yeah, everything is a lot more complicated than it seems.
Yeah, it's really complicated. And Trump, they started trying to build a wall, but they're trying to build a wall in so many places in the middle of the desert. And like, how do you do that, right?
Yeah.
Just to even get the materials there. I mean, it's just really incredibly difficult. So, yeah. Dude, jog, man.
Jog.
Hey, Andrew, though.
Yes, it is Andrew.
Just another white guy, man. I like that. That's best. That's my new nickname for white people, jogs.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It fits.
Dude, but it's all good. Like we're going to get, white people are, sometimes we don't put our voices out there in the mix in thoughtful ways as much as we sometimes need to. So we shall. Sometimes it's too many white voices, and sometimes not enough.
Yeah, I think it's just because, like, when you just look at the presidents alone, every one of them is like a white guy. Like all the white men have the power when it comes to America right now. But at the same time, I don't think that we would be the root of racism. Like whenever someone says that to me, I'm like, have you watched a soccer game before? Like there's so many like racial slurs, and it's an international thing.
Yeah, totally, man. People who think that it's just racism is a thing just here in the United States, it's because they haven't traveled outside of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't actually witnessed the kinds of things, certainly that I've witnessed in other countries. And yeah, it's really complicated. All right, dude. Thanks, man. Enjoy.
All right, thank you.
Up in state. Well, you're in state college, so we'll catch you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, man. Ciao. Hey,
I think Joy has something to say quick.
Joy, bring it on.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Joy, is that your real hair?
I mean, it's mine.
Dude.
I'll say that. They'll
Wait,
see my real hair later.
I was saying like, oh, Sam doesn't even know that's not her real hair. That's what I love. Go ahead, man.
Probably. I just wanted to say, checking out what's going on in some of the chat on the top hat stuff, do not use a code that someone is dropping. There are multiple Social 19 sections going on, and there are different top hat codes to align with what class, what section, and your roster is in, i.e., how you're going to get graded, and make sure it all goes to the right space and you're accounted for. Check your syllabus. Everything you need for whichever section you may be in is in your syllabus.
Yeah.
Do not refer to the chat.
Yeah,
you don't fuck yourself up. And I don't want to hear nothing about no grades, no extra credit, no nothing.
Yeah.
Check your syllabus.
Yeah, actually, a better thing is go into Top Hat from the Canvas. As long as you go in from Canvas, you're going to get into the right section. We're going to update it anyway. Like Lily's going to like reconnect Canvas and Top Hat. But yeah, do not put Top Hat codes in the app, man. You might get the wrong one, and then it's going to be a pain for us. Joy, what else? Did I tick anybody off today? Were you watching the chat? Anybody?
Not really.
How'd they handle your sign, man? Anybody complaining about your sign?
I don't know, but I don't really care. I don't know. We got a kick out of one of the comments from someone was like, "That's an offensive sign." Well, it's my offensive ass bedroom, so it will stay where it's at.
No, all right.
But yeah.
But we understand. This is safe space world, right? Like this is
safe space. I'm a woman and I am retaking back this term, okay? Safe space. More information on your dialogues will be coming up as well. We'll talk about it Tuesday.
Dialogues start when?
Dialogues start on the 31st for you guys. The email will go out the week before. It'll go out right after or before, a little bit before ending time of class on Tuesday. And we'll ask you guys to check things in real time to make sure everyone's getting their email and you register, and to go over attendance and how to make sure you help us help you. But you will be getting the email and be able to register starting next week for the dialogue starting the 31st throughout the rest of the semester.
Are you sure they're starting the 31st? I thought we were starting on the 27th, dude.
That's for advanced programming.
Okay, I got you, man. Yeah. All right, y'all. Got it. So Joy will be back on with World in Conversation stuff next week, and we'll make sure that you're all going to get an email from World in Conversation. You can start signing up for the dialogues. Hey, y'all. Everybody, and thanks to my assistant here. My niece Susie is rocking and rolling with me today, talking in my ears. And have an awesome weekend. Have a safe weekend. Make sure you wash your hands, don't touch your face, and all that good stuff. Wear a mask. I'll see you.
What can I say? What can I